Why are PropTech companies failing in India? Why does the Indian PropTech industry feel like a drop in the ocean when compared to the tsunami that is US PropTech ecosystem? Look at this visual and let me explain why these numbers should concern every stakeholder in our real estate market. Deep dive into the visual. On the left hand side, we have the top 5 Indian PropTech companies: Square Yards, 99 Acres, Housing.com, No Broker, and Magic Bricks. Combined, they generate just 0.3 billion in the revenues. Now look at the right hand side. The top 5 American PropTech companies, Zillow, Opendoor, CoStar, Compass, and Expedia are at a jaw-dropping $30 billion. That's just not a small cap, it's a 100x difference. But here's the real kicker. The Indian real estate market isn't 100 times smaller than the US market. If anything, our real estate it is pegged at $45 trillion compared to the US, which is at $145 trillion. That's only 3.22x difference. And look at the GDPs. India stands at around 4 trillion while the US is at 31 trillion. Yes, their economy is bigger, but does that alone justify this massive revenue gap in PropTech? Something doesn't add up. So where is the disconnect? Why are Indian PropTech companies are struggling to scale despite having a massive addressable market? Is it because the Indian PropTech focuses too much on classifieds and lead generation, while US PropTech players are disrupting transactions, leasing, and ownership models? Are Indian companies missing the tech-first, customer-first mindset that US players have mastered? Or is it because real estate in India is still deeply fragmented with too much reliance on offline brokers and unstructured data? These are questions we need to ask ourselves specifically and especially as the gap between these two markets grow wider. Explaining the lack of scalability, let's compare business model for a moment. In the US, platforms like Zillow and CoStar have moved beyond being simple marketplaces. They have become ecosystems that streamline everything from listing to transactions, data analysis, and even financing. Indian PropTech, on the other hand, is still heavily reliant on generating leads for brokers and developers. Maybe Square Yards and No Broker are an exception, but then scalability is still a question. It's like we are stuck in phase 1 while they have already unlocked the phase 3. Bringing up MLS. And this brings me to the elephant in the room, the lack of an MLS or multiple listing service. In the US, MLS acts as a centralized hub where data is transparent, accessible, and standardized for all stakeholders. It's the foundation that powers the 30 billion revenue. Without it, the Indian real estate remains fragmented. Brokers, developers, and even customers are operating in silos, leading to inefficiency, distrust, and slower scalability. And MLS isn't just about technology, it's about building trust and streamlining how real estate is bought and sold, or even rented. Here's the bottom line. India doesn't lack the market potential or customer base. What we lack is the ability to organize our ecosystem at scale. The $30 billion question is, are Indian PropTech companies ready to adapt their models, collaborate, and build solutions that actually transform the industry? It's just not about catching up to the US, it's about unlocking the untapped potential of our 45 trillion market in an Indian fashion, solving for India in a way the Indians will lap it up. So what's stopping us? Let's get going.